Hello, everyone. I hope you are well. I am still recovering from COVID, so I'm still sounding a little funny here. If you're new to my videos, I don't always sound like this. I'm just a little congested and I've been coughing nonstop for like 5 days now. So hopefully I'm on the mend and I will be better soon. And I apologize for how funny this sounds on the video. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video about round number levels and how I use them in my trading every day. And I will say that round numbers are a critical component of my trading plan. But I also use volume profile, and I talk about that a lot. So I thought I would make a more detailed video. There is a video in my playlist talking about how to use volume profile to find the best support and resistance levels. This one is going to be a little more of a deeper dive into volume profile and all the ways that I use it. I'm going to go over some of the terminology so you understand what people are talking about when you hear things like, a naked puck. I'm also going to go over, how I use it every day. I will talk about a couple of the most popular, letter patterns. I don't particularly look at the patterns of the letter patterns, but I'll explain what the main ones are. I'm using NinjaTrader 8 right now. That's what I trade on. And volume profile tools are only accessible if you have a lifetime license. So when I started trading in 2020, there really wasn't like prop firms out there where you got a free license. You basically had to buy one. And I just purchased the lifetime license because I knew right away I loved trading and I was going to do it forever. So it made sense to me to purchase that. Now, I've never explored any other trading platforms at that time. This is what I thought I needed, so this is what I purchased. I don't recommend anyone purchases a lifetime license just to get volume profile. I mean, NinjaTrader is very heavy on your computer. I'm not sure it's even the best platform. It's very popular, but there are other platforms becoming more popular. Quant Tower, Sierra Charts. I've just started trading on the new Top Step X. I do not recommend Tradeovate. And I love, if you've seen any of my videos, I love my trading view charts. You can get access to volume profile without paying for it on Ninja. But if you are a lover of NinjaTrader and you really want volume profile in your charts, then maybe you could consider it, but I don't recommend it. I will talk about at the end of this video some ways where you could get access to volume profile free. One of the ways I'm going to say is I do post the current day levels. Like I've just posted levels from today into Discord. And when I use volume profile, I use when I start trading on Monday, I'm going to be using Friday's volume profile levels. But I'll talk more about that later. Let's just kind of talk about what is volume profile. So volume profile is basically a graphical representation. It's a histogram that tells you the volume of price at each specific level. So this gives you volume and price. So let's talk about some of the terminology. You hear people talk about the POC or the POC. The POC is this yellow line right here. And you see today's POC is 18228. And what is that? That's the price on the given day where the most significant volume of contracts have traded. So the most contracts traded here. And you can see by the node how far out it is. That's what the point of control is. When you see it on my charts, it's always the dotted yellow line. You also hear people talk about naked POCs. And those guys look like this. They are solid yellow lines on my chart. This was a naked POC which has been retested. Let me find you one that's not. Here we go. We've got a naked POC up here at 18650.50 that hasn't been retested yet. I'm sure we have some below too. Correct. We've got one at 17537.75 and 17372.50. So those are what is referred to as naked POCs. And these are just POCs that haven't been revisited. Like the POC is a magnet for price. It's where the highest number of contracts have sold or been purchased. So, price is always moving towards it. And when we have naked POCs, we always retest them. It's very unusual to have 3 naked POCs in a row. We usually come back and get 1. But once in a while, we do have that happen. Next, let's talk about what is the value area. So the value area is the price range where a specific percentage of the total volume is traded. If you open the indicator here, these are the settings that I use. For this one, I'm using volume on the standard session, and I'm using a value area of 68%. So the value area represents where 68% of the contracts for the day traded. And how do we know where the value area is? Well, it's going to be marked by the white line here, which is value area high, and the white line here, which is value area low. And you also hear me refer sometimes to naked or virgin value area low or high levels. And those are just levels that were created but haven't been retested. And when you see me mark lines on my chart, like this, I'm marking untested value area high and low because we're going to come back to it. And so I marked that off on my chart. So in the profile, you have a histogram and you have volume nodes. And we have small volume nodes here, medium, and then large. And the largest volume nodes usually will point into the POC, again, which is the point of control where most contracts have traded for that given session. You'll hear me refer to gaps in the profile. And what that means is, like right here, we have a gap in the profile. Right here, we have a gap in the profile. We have all this area it's not a gap, but it's a low volume area that we're going to need to come back and revisit and fill in. That's what that refers to. So it's volume profile that has low volume traded, and you're going to hear me call them minus development areas. For the orb trade, the indicator that I'm using is the initial balance indicator, and I've just set it up to give us an initial balance range. For the first orb trade, we're doing just the 15 minutes before the market open, and the second one we're doing the 15 minutes before open and the 5 minutes after, and it gives us a range, and that's what the initial balance is. The actual initial balance covers the first hour of trading. And I would say, it's a good indicator to use if you don't use volume profile. It will show you right away if there's a trading range, and it's going to help you identify breakouts that would lead into an up or a downtrend, which is similar to what I use volume profile for. I would say, the initial balance is based on time more or less than volume profile is based on price and volume. So I think volume profile is preferred, but initial balance is a good second runner-up. In terms of letter patterns, we could start with the P-shaped profile. And I see one here. We got a P shape right here. So a P-shaped volume profile typically occurs when market rises sharply and then consolidates. So we see a sharp rise. And when you see the volume profile isn't filled out very much, that indicates we did move quickly. After price reaches the upper end of the profile, there's a period of consolidation. And P-shaped profiles occur during uptrends. A P-shaped profile can also mark the end of a downtrend, indicating a possible short covering rally. Since short covering usually is seen as temporary strength within a market, P-shaped profiles can be interpreted as bullish signals. And as you see, after this P-shaped day, the following day, we did move up into more of a D-shaped here. I guess we could consider this somewhat of a P-shaped. We actually have a gap here. I mean, we moved up so quickly, we have a gap. And I've been talking about this gap for all week. We are going to come back and fill it in. Let's talk about the opposite of a P-shape, which would be the B-shape. And I see one here. a lowercase b, and a B-shaped profile forms when the market falls sharply. It's the opposite of a P. We have a sharp fall and then a consolidation. P-shaped profiles represent short covering, and B-shaped profiles represent a period of selling before balance is found in the market. B-shaped profiles are commonly found during downtrends. When a B-shape is seen during an uptrend, it can potentially indicate a reversal because B-shaped profiles represent longs exiting the market. They're generally understood as bearish signals. So in this case, we got a B-shaped profile, but we did continue up the next day. I wouldn't, these shapes can be helpful, but I don't think that they are like the be-all, end-all. All right, now we need a D-shaped profile, which I see here. And a D-shaped profile it's basically a trading range. A D-shaped profile occurs when there's a temporary balance in the market. The POC is typically located in the center, which it is here, indicating balance between buyers and sellers. Some traders interpret the D-shaped profile as a choppy or sideways market that lacks clear direction since neither buyers or sellers are more aggressive. However, patient order flow traders seek out D-shapes and in the profile to trade a breakout. And we had a D-shaped profile and we broke up to the upside. And then the final one is here's one, a capital B-shaped profile, which we kind of have here, where you have almost two equal POCs. A B-shaped profile arises when two D-shaped profiles occur within a specified time period. Although there's only one value area in POC, some order flow traders will separate the two into two separate D areas with their own value areas. This is where the drawing tool for the volume profile can come in handy. B-shaped profiles are generally interpreted as a continuation of a trend. It is important to note which POC is more dominant, indicating whether activity was greatest at the top or the bottom. So here we have a B-shaped profile. Clearly we know that the volume was larger at the POC, so there was less volume up here. And we have gaps. The way that I use this shape when it's developing like that, it's usually a trading range. It's just a bigger one to me. And I look for, like, once we pass the value area high, we look to fill in the gaps to the value area. The POC, we look to fill in the gaps to the value area high. Those are the main shapes. I don't personally get too worried about what the shapes are. So now I want to really get into how I use volume profile. I've got a chart up with some candlesticks now so we can see the profiles. Now I said I post the volume profile levels every day in Discord, and like on Monday I'm going to use Friday's value area high and low levels. And the reason for that is, when the market opens on Sunday, the volume profile is going to be developing. Friday's volume profile is already complete. We know what the pattern is, and we will come back and retest them. So most times we do retest the value area low and high of the prior day. So this is today's pattern. On Monday, I will make a horizontal line here and a horizontal line here. And I will see where we open. If we open in the middle, I would wait for us to cross either above or come down and cross below and test one of these levels. So let's say we came down and we crossed below. I'll be waiting for us to cross below and then pull back into value area. And that's where you would take your long entry and you would set your first target for the POC and your second target for the value area high. If we open and we go up to value area high, we go above value area high. When we come back into value area, we would take a sell order here. We would take our first target at the POC, or front run it a little bit, and our second target down here at the value area low. And you could run a third target to the prior day low. Same up here. You could run a third target to the prior day high if you took the long. In a trading range, you can trade back and forth of value area. So this is Thursday's value area, volume profile levels. Here is value area high from Thursday. Here is value area low from Thursday. Here's where we opened. We opened below value area high. So we went up and then we came back in. And volume profile traders would have taken a short here. They would have set one target here and one target here. So they got in and they would have got their POC target. Their runner was stopped out. Then we pushed up above value area high and we pulled back and it became support. At that point, we are confirmed in an uptrend because we are not going back into value area. So we're not going to continue in the trading range and we're not in a downtrend because value area high is holding. So we're expanding out of value area yesterday to the upside. So we pull back here and we get a pull back here and an entry for a swing trade. And we would take that up. Now, where are we at? Around 10:19 today. Nope, hold on. Around 10:52 today, we crossed below yesterday's value area low. Volume profile traders would have been triggered to take a short. They would have taken off one target here at the POC, and they would have ran the other one down here to value area low. So they got their first target, but not their second target. And then we went up above value area high, and we came back in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's 32 to 14. So I don't know, 16 points. So there's 16, 16, 16, and 16. And that's how you take volume profile rotations. Let's go back another day. So this is Thursday's price action, and this is Wednesday's volume profile levels. Here's value area high. Here's value area low. Here's where we opened. We opened inside of value area. We came below value area low, and we pulled back into it. This would have triggered a long for the volume profile traders who would have taken the swing trade. When I do it, I take a scalp. I take it, then I go a second target to POC, third target to the value area high. So anyway, the long traders would have been triggered here. They would have been stopped out. Price came down, it came back. We found support. They would have thought that we were going to make a downtrend, so they would have entered short here. They would have been stopped out. So there's 1, 2 stop outs. Then we re-entered value area. They would have taken the long, the swing to value area high, the POC, and then value area high. That was a successful rotation. 53 to 2001. That's almost 40 points. Then we got above Wednesday's value area high. And we came back into value area. They would have taken the short. There's another 40 points. We crossed below Wednesday's value area low. We came back into it. They took the long. They got the target to the POC. The runner was stopped out. We came back below. We came back into value. Another entry was triggered. That's another 40 points. And then we came back below value area low. Another short was triggered. First target was hit. Second target was broken even. The runner was stopped at a break even. So I use this to trade trading ranges. But that is a volume profile rotation. And I will say, I don't always take these trades because you see here we entered value, we got stopped out. We entered value, we got stopped out. We entered value, we got stopped out. You need a wide stop, and eventually it is going to break out and not go your way. So you could take the first couple rotations, but I like to get in. I wait till we cross above it, and I try to get in with a retracement, and I use a small stop. I'd rather just take a small loss than a big one. I'd rather get stopped out a couple of times versus one big stop up. So I use volume profile to help me identify the trend. And here we are, we opened this day. Here's my volume profiles levels for the prior day. Let's just set them up again. And really quickly, when it comes to volume profile trades, I never recommend anybody trades off the POC. You see here, it's a magnet for price and we can chop up and down on it. It's not a good place to take a trade. You really should take a trade coming into value from above or into value from below, or away from value, or away from above, or away from value from below. I don't recommend any trades at the POC. Okay, so here's our prior day price action. We were in a trading range. We see we had a D-shaped profile, a little heavier on the higher side, which always tells me to look for breakouts on the upside. If we had a D-shaped profile, but there was more volume towards the bottom, I will look for the breakouts at the bottom. But we have more volume. It's a D-shape, but we have more volume on the top. So I'm looking for a breakout on the top. And you can see here, we're making higher highs. And then we started to kind of wedge here. We kind of made lower lows too. We're waiting for the breakout. But you can usually tell which way you're going to break out because which side is it consolidating towards? It's consolidating towards value area high, not value area low. If it was consolidating towards value area low, I would think the breakout is on the bottom. So that's one way to just get an idea of which way we might break out. Once we break above value area high from the prior day, you want to either look for a move back in, which tells you we're either in a trading range or we're going to continue down into a downtrend, or you want to look for that to become support and us to continue up, and then you want to enter the long, and we're in an uptrend. Now this day we did move into an uptrend, but we did reverse, and then we chopped around. So you see we have kind of a D-shaped profile here, but the bottom is more condensed at the bottom. Well, what does that tell us? And this is today. That tells us that we're probably going to break out to the downside. And I also see a flag. So that's another clue. Okay, and then another way you can use volume profile is to draw your support and resistance levels. Now you have the value area high and value area low. You want to be careful when you're trading close to these areas that you have enough room to get to your target. If you can't just take a long, like right here, I wouldn't take this long because you're right here. You don't have enough room to get to your target. The same with shorts. You know, would you take this short right here? I wouldn't. You're right into value area low. You have to have enough room to get your target. I'm going to change. I've got the bricks on 16. That's pretty large. Let's see here. You can use these large nodes to identify your support and resistance. So you see this large node on this day. I've made a line there. We came back to it. We came back close to it here, here, and here. We got a large node here. You see we consolidated around it. It became a strong level. So basically you can use it like that. All right, guys. Well, I hope all this technical stuff wasn't too boring. I've got my own charts open now, and I'm just going to go over really quickly how I'm using these tools. So you see I've already drawn the white line on value area high and value area low from today. I have the volume profile on my 32 brick chart for NQ and my large brick chart for gold, which is over here. I particularly find gold does respect the volume profile levels. What I look for and why I use the volume profile is I'm looking for gaps in the profile. And I've been talking about this gap down here for quite some time. I've actually marked it off. Not the whole gap, that would make my chart too busy. I just marked off where the gap will fill. So I know that level's down there. But, you know, looking at this profile, I look at the profile from the prior day. I want to know where the levels are. In case we're in a trading range, I'm going to use them to do volume profile rotations. But I'm also looking to see where the breakout is going to be. Again, I can see we consolidated towards the bottom of the range in the profile here. So that I'm looking for the breakdown. We got a leg, we got a consolidation. I expect another leg down. So I look for the breakout. Now, yesterday's volume profile was like this. I waited, we got a breakout. We pulled back and we went up. Now, I didn't, if you watch my live stream from today, I didn't take this long because we had gaps in the session chart. So I don't just go by this, you know, I go by both. Now, if you took the long off the IB box today, it was a good scalp. You got a good, I mean, a little bit of a swing, but mostly a scalp. But then we sold off and we came and we filled the gap on the volume profile. I mean, in the session gap. If you watched my video, you heard me say I'm not taking this. It's not a quality setup. If we gapped down, I would have been interested in the long, but we gapped up and that told me we were going to come down and fill that gap. So I didn't take that trade. But, you know, here is the initial balance range box from today. Now, this is for the Orb 2 trade we're taking. So this range is 15 minutes pre-market and 5 minutes post-market. But you see, you can almost use it like volume profile. We break above, you take the long. When we break above and we pull back and it holds, you take the long. We come back down below, you swing to the bottom. And I would set one target in the middle and one at the bottom. We break out the bottom, we pull back, and we continue down. You take the trade. I am not a breakout trader. I would never take a trade right off the breakout, you know. There's got to be other things going on for me to do that. Mostly you want to wait for confirmation. So you wait for the breakout, the pullback, the confirmation, then you go. I always recommend waiting for the confirmation, you know, wait for the pullback. Sometimes you don't get one and it goes without you, and let it, because more times than not, if you just took this long here, you got stopped out, right? We did break above the box. You could have entered here and you would have gotten stopped out. But if you waited till we broke out here and we pulled back, then you got an entry. So yeah, you didn't get the whole entire move, but you got enough and you're getting a safer entry. Your win rate's going to be higher. I don't recommend you just take the first breakout. Here we go. We broke out. We did pull back and retest that level, and then we continued. But sometimes we won't. Sometimes you'll just miss it, you know? So that's just how it is. And then one other way I use volume profile is, this chart is a mess. I have a monthly composite profile on my daily charts. And it gives me the monthly value area high and value area low and value area high. We are currently above that level. This is another reason why I'm very bearish on the market right now. And we have a very big gap in the minus development gap here to come and fill. I'm expecting to come down and fill it. So these are the ways that I use volume profile. I personally would never want to trade without it. I rely on it pretty heavily. As much as I rely on my round number levels, I rely on volume profile. Okay guys, so I did a deep dive search to see if I could find a free volume profile tool, and I could not find one. In the Google Drive here, if you go to folders and indicators, there is in here a volume profile tool. I tried to install it, but it says it's not compatible with my version. So some of the indicators in here are older, and if you've upgraded to the most recent copy of NinjaTrader, it won't install. It'll say, you know, it's an old script. What you could do, install a prior version, install the indicator, and then just update from there. It seems like the indicators are fine if you update if they're already installed. Here it is, daily volume profile. This is the one I was talking about. I wasn't able to install it, so I don't honestly know what it looks like. But I did create a chart in TradingView. I've got two different volume profile indicators. This one's set on a daily chart, and this one's set on a 1 hour chart. It looked funky on the daily chart, but it tells you what the POC is. This one's a little better, I think. This is the volume, and this is the profile. These are free. You can use TradingView for free. I will link this chart template in the video description. Just remember that when you're on the free version, unless you've subscribed to data, your data lags 10 minutes. But that's not really going to be a problem if you're just using the daily profile. I chart a lot on TradingView, so I have data. And I've got, the pro plan. It goes on sale every Black Friday. You get like 70% off, so I just buy it for the year. It's pretty cheap. So if you're interested in TradingView, remember that, wait for Black Friday sale. There are paid indicators. I know Trade Devils has one. I went on the ecosystem and there was like a bunch. They were like $400 or $500. I don't think it's worth it when you have the free one here. So again, you don't have to use this tool. You can use, IB. You could just skip it all together. I just wanted to explain how I use it and what I'm talking about in my videos, so that makes sense. So I hope this video helps you better understand volume profile and how I'm using it in my trading, and it will at least help you understand what I'm talking about when I say POC or POC. Please keep in mind, I'm only on my third year of trading. I'm still, pretty new. I'm sure there's a lot of ways that you can use volume profile that even more experienced traders could talk to you about or suggest. I'm just going over, the basics of what I use it for and how I understand it. So, take that for what it's worth. And I hope that you find this to be a useful tool in your trading. Okay, guys, that's all I've got for this video. In the video description, you're going to find links to my Google Drive. I've got that opened right here. In that drive are all the free indicators. There are chart templates for you, copies of my personal charts, and a lot of books and material on trading free for you. If you're interested in joining the Discord, please send me or leave a comment. I go live in the Discord every morning for the orb trade, and then one of our members, Vance, goes live for most of the day. I can see they're still in the live channel from today. So there's lots of indicators. There's lots of learning materials in here. Everything is organized. I post every day the daily expected and volume profile levels. So there's a lot of information in there. If you want access to that, just leave a comment below. Thank you again for liking and subscribing and supporting my channel. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.